afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to This Is Knit in Dublin. I'm getting my energy up. I've had my coffee. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day. We've been really blessed with the sun lately in Dublin. So still a little bite in the wind though. So we still need our shawls coming in the morning. Thank you for joining us. We're doing another lunchtime if you're in this time zone live, whether you're having your breakfast, your dinner, or you're watching back later on. We're really delighted to have you along for the next sort of 40 minutes to an hour. Waving to all the people that are joining. It's great to see you. What's going on here? Well, first of all, building work is going on in the centre. They are replacing one of the staircases. They're putting in a slightly new location. So if you hear horrible drilling and a lot of banging, that's why I've got the headphones in today. That's what that's about, and apologies in advance, but hopefully it won't interrupt us too much, or hopefully they will go on their lunch and maybe sit down and have a coffee and look at This Is Knit Live. Who knows? So that's people are starting to kind of trickle back into the centre. There's some work going on in some of the shops. We've been doing a big spring clean this week, which is actually fantastic. I am loving it. It's really satisfying to get in to sort of the back rooms and the places that we wouldn't want you to see and dig out years worth of stuff. I think we took up 3, like the massive delivery boxes. We took up like 3 loads of recycling yesterday. So that was fun. There has been deliveries though. There's been some fun stuff that's come in, including a restock of Irish Artisan yarns. So I'm going to show you some of the colours that have come back in stock that arrived from Tara yesterday. And that's our exclusive basically DK tweed that you can't get anywhere else, that she does just for us. And we've been doing more preparation for our Zoom event next Thursday evening, the virtual yarn tasting. Delighted for everybody who managed to get a box for that. So sorry if you weren't able to do it. Hopefully we'll be able to do it again. But there's some background preparation for that. So if you're one of the people that are involved in it, you will be getting an email from us either later today or tomorrow with some advanced information, including the Zoom link. So don't panic if you haven't got the Zoom link just yet. We will have that for you, and some cocktail recipes so you can do your shopping for your groceries. So thanks, Jackie. Jackie was like, are we going to get grocery shopping list? And I was like, oh yeah, we should do that. Yeah. So Jackie says squee. Amazing. So that is the Zoom. That is going to be happening next Thursday, and because it's a big event, there's going to be lots of people on, and it probably might run to an hour and a half, 2 hours. I am not going to do a live next week, so there will be a skipped week next week because it's all going to be about Thursday evening at 8 o'clock, and I'm hoping that we can get a couple more of the team in here, and they're going to be talking on the Zoom about some of their favourite yarns and some of the things that they've done with it and some suggestions. So but I will move on from that because I know not everybody has managed to take part. So Irish Artisan yarns, I'm looking down at my notes on a stool here. You got your box in the US. So this is PJ Thompson says she got her box in the US mail faster than a return from across the city. Yeah, there's no logic to it at all. Like, we've had deliveries going down the road that have taken 2 weeks, and people have gotten stuff in from the Netherlands or across the water. There just seems to be stuff get caught up, but I'm super happy that you have yours. And we were very cautious. We did put the rules in that anybody getting one in this week's batch were by courier delivery only, because don't want anybody to just be disappointed. That's the main thing. So one thing that has come up repeatedly over the last couple of weeks has been people wanting to see more about interchangeable needle sets, and I haven't had a chance to do it, so I'm going to dedicate some time today to that, but I'm going to do it at the end because it's not everybody's cup of tea. So stay tuned. At the end we're going to allow some time to take a little bit of a closer look at the Chowgoo needle sets, the interchangeable ones that we have, and the Knit Pro ones, or the 1 or 2 that we have remaining in stock, because I have a delivery that I'm hoping will come tomorrow or the next day to replenish all of our lovely Knit Pro sets. So yeah, hang around basically if that's up if that floats your boat. But I will get into, as the drilling starts, let me know if that's bothering you, but the questions that people have submitted, that's why we're here. So we each week would ask, what can we show you, what would you like to know about, how can we help with some advice, and lovely people email us and they fill out the bits on the sticker, and we get to have a little bit of a chat and take a look at some inspiration and some colours and all that sort of stuff in the live format. I need notes. Right. So number 1 is Valerie Carroll. Hello Valerie, hope you're with us today or watching back. Thanks for the question. You are knitting the Church Mouse classic saddle shoulder men's sweater. So one of those long pattern names. And you're more or less decided on soft Donegal, which I do think is a really good option actually for this design. But you're wondering if I had any other suggestions for that. So I would think, so here's the sweater that we're talking about here. So really nice, refined style, and very, yeah, very classic, definitely. So soft Donegal would be amazing in this. It is, soft Donegal is a non-superwash tweed yarn. I will show the options. I just picked out two colors of that I think are really super nice, which is the oatmeal here, and this kind of aqua blue. That is color number 5519. So it is 100% merino wool, so the softer side of tweed from Studio Donegal, but with their classic fleck going through it. So I wanted to show you another non-superwash option, and we do have Hamilton from BC Garn, and I think that it's just so squishy. It's lovely. It is really a very soft wool, and some of the natural shades that comes out. Now I'm not sure that I'd go for cream necessarily, but just to show you the natural shades. And this guy here, I'm gonna I'll do the turnover thing so you can see it, but it's got these gray undertones to it. Let's do that. Hold on, you're gonna go down and have a look at these. So you can see some of those options. Now there's an Aran weight as well in the soft merino Aran range. Hang on. Or the Rico range. Ooh, that was not a flattering angle. Hang on one second. Oops. Here we go. I brought in this guy today so you can have a look at him. Now, hopefully that's all right. So there was your soft Donegal, or Studio Donegal, and then these were some of the colors that I picked out for Hamilton. Let me see, more light. Yes, so what I was saying was in the Rico range there is a yarn called Soft Merino Aran, and that is also an option. I actually didn't pull out any here because it's a superwash. I'm not too sure that for a larger sweater whether it's the most suitable, because some superwash yarns, as good as they are in terms of easy care, can stretch out over time and things like that. So these would be the options that I would recommend, and that's the grey tones in Hamilton, which is color 103, the sort of neutral beige, oops, color 113, and the grey tones here, color 101. Okay, I hope that helps, Valerie, and I will throw these behind me and then we'll have a look at something else. Let's see. Okay. Now, Nicola sent us a bit of an essay. Thanks, Nicola. I appreciate it. Good to make use of the time. Nicola said that you've got a couple of queries, and she's recently received lino yarn from us, which is these guys here. And she had knitted a swatch, and she sent us a picture of the swatch. And you could see that it was biasing fresh off the needles, and then she went and washed and blocked it, and it lined up really nicely. I think I'm going to bring you back up actually for a second. See the roof. So you were concerned about when you were going to go and make your pattern that the whole thing would twist as you were wearing it. I'm going to show the pattern as well that you were doing. Sorry. And if other people have questions, I might not catch them, but I'll scroll back. But either way, lots of waves. Nice to see you. So Nicola is going to be making June, which is by Julie Weisenberger. So it's another coconuts design, and she's going to be making it in lino. And you were just concerned that it was going to sort of shift as you were wearing it. And you were wondering if in the lino or Leone patterns that we've been making lately, if that's been a problem. It hasn't been, and I don't know, as you were saying, the tension in Leone is quite different to the tension in June. But there are things that you can do to minimize that if you're finding that when you knit in the round that your whole fabric is sort of sliding over a little bit. I did a kind of cotton viscose top years ago that had a leaf panel design down the middle, and it was knit in the round, and it drove me crazy because every time I wore it, this thing that was supposed to be lovely and straight down the middle was shifting. It was one way or the other, I can't remember which way. And so committed to memory, the thing that we should do, and that you can do for other yarns, doesn't have to be one that you've detected this bias in, is create fake seams in your project that's knit in the round. So there's two main methods that I've come across for it, and that is like you just put a marker literally, you know, at the sides where your seams would be, and you can do every second round purl 1 or 2 stitches there. So you're kind of creating this little garter stitch breaker going up the side. Or there's another method where you mark it, and when you get to the underarms before you cast off, or if you're working top down, actually before you do your cast off, either which way, right? You actually drop 1 column of stitches and create a ladder all the way back down. And then get out your crochet hook and hook up. It's like, I think you like skip a line every second or third, or, you know, depending on the row tension of the row gauge, so that you're not kind of distorting it too much, you're not pulling it up so much, but you're giving that kind of faux seam structure. So if that interests you, just drop me a message after this and I'll find the tutorial and I will send you the link to it, or you might be able to do a quick Google, but create basically a fake seam in your garment and that should fix it. I hope that helps. Great, so that was a good question. I like these talky learning ones. So you're going to do that, create a faux seam, and then your second question, Nicola, was you've been asked to make an oversized crop jumper for your niece. Great. It's her 16th birthday. Aw, happy birthday. And it is, you thought that cotton merino would be a good candidate for this guy here. Oh, Nick, you're there. Great, great. Yeah, I think cotton merino would be a good option for this. I would swatch because cotton merino recommends, let's see, it's kind of a funny needle size and tension. So it's saying on like 4.5 to 5 millimeter needles, you're going to get 16 stitches to 4 inches. People are liking the tips. Good, good. I think the needle size for the cardigan when I looked it up was about 5.5 or something. So just careful swatching. Check it out. The main thing is that you're getting your stitch tension, and just pay attention then to your row measurements, or the measurements of your piece as you're working those. So you could totally get away with that, or you were saying she likes light pinks and greys and things like that. So yes, this guy here, which is color number 103 in cotton merino, really good option. There is, or medium gray, sorry, is what you said. This is color 106, medium gray. There's this shade, which doesn't kind of strictly fit into the 2 categories that you made, but it's a new one and I just really adore it. It's shade 128, and it's this soft lilac-y with kind of grey blue tones. It's really nice. And then I said, yeah, you could use Hamilton as well if you wanted. So this was a medium grey Hamilton, which is color 101. I will show you all those together, and then I can throw these back. So I think people like the colors, that's good. Now, hello shop. Shop that is much cleaner than it was before. I love it. Let's go down a bit more. Okay, so you can see these next to each other. That might help too. Right, so that's for this guy here. That's a really sweet design. I like it. Okay. Now, where did I do some of the cardigan? Right. Okay, so you've had a look at some pretty yarn. Yeah, Nicola says she loves the live broadcast. Thanks, Nicola. That's great. And am I feeling better from my cold? Yes, thank you so much. God, that was just bad last week. I apologise again for all of the sniffles, but sure, we carry on. Okay, cool. So those are those colour options. I hope that helps. And let us know if you need any advice on how many balls you might need as well for your project. So, okay, so come here. We'll take a look at some new yarn, will we? And then I'll go back to a few questions. Whoops. Okay. Get a whole basket for you. So this is kind of neat unboxing. I'm not pulling things. I literally pulled them out of the box before this. But there you go. Right, I wanted to show you the latest few things that we've got in from the wonderful Tara of Irish Artisan Yarns. So this is her Cairn Wood shade in DK Tweed. So DK Tweed is a 85% superwash merino and 15% Donegal nep, and you get 212 meters per 100 grams. Squee-doo yarn. Yeah, I do love it. So Tara names, it like takes inspiration from places all the way around the island of Ireland, and you get to see her like when she does shows and stuff, you get to see the photos of where the colours have come from and everything. So they're really beautiful, and we have other shades in stock, but these are just the new ones that or the ones that had gone out of stock. I wanted to show you that they were back in to Sunset. Oh, I took the label off that one, but now you can see it better. This guy, I don't know why I called him a guy, but yes, this is Rathlin. Which was obviously, there must be a beautiful sunset that was experienced at some stage by Tara. And yeah, I'm madly in love with that. Really, really beautiful. What would you make with this? I'm looking for good ideas. What would inspire, what would that inspire you to make? We can all share some stuff in the comments. That would be good. We're going golden now. This guy, okay, I've decided they're male for some reason, is Achill Island. Have I ever been to Achill Island? I think I might not have, and I need to fix that. I'm trying to think, was I on a school tour there or something? Have you been to Achill Island? Do these colours remind you of it? So, just to get a better look. But I love the flex in this. Okay, Heliana said that she would make a short-sleeved raglan top. Ooh, yeah, and I want that wrap shawl, actually. That's from Breda. That would be a really good idea. We might have to do that. How does the Irish Artisan Yarn Sunset knit up? Jenny was wondering. I haven't seen it knit up just yet. I must check the colour. Sometimes I will go on to Ravelry and check that colour under the yarn listing and see what other people have done. So that might be worthwhile if you're on Ravelry. Irish Mills says that her parents had their honeymoon in Achill. Wow, I love it. And apparently Rathlin. Where is Rathlin? Rathlin, Clodagh says the Rathlin is stunning, and it's the place and the yarn. I'm not too sure which county that's in or anything like that. Well, I will have an opportunity this summer to do a lot more tourism around Ireland. Joy says that the yarn is so soft and lovely to knit with. And Aisling said that you made the tinsel mitts by Andrea Mary in the Ballyholme shade. So there you go. Okay, Rathlin is off the coast of Antrim. Definitely gonna have to do some touring around, get a tent out. Okay, right, next colour is Dunfanaghy. And again, I love the jewel tones of this one. It's really nice. I'll bring this one up a little bit closer so you can see. Dunfanaghy. So we're taking a virtual tour of Ireland via the medium of yarn today. And I have two more. Okay. We have got, Dublin, yeah. So this, I think, is inspired by like the stonework and the buildings of Dublin. Breda says she needs a second job for yarn. Yeah, I just made my job yarn. So not sure. Well, yeah, it's worked out well. I was going to say, I'm not sure I recommend it. It's a hard job, but you have to work hard in this industry. I'm not complaining. You get to play with this stuff. So Irish Artisan Yarns DK Tweed is what we're looking at. The Restock, and this is the shade Dublin. This is actually really popular every time it comes in. Faye Norris, she said that she made the Franz shawl by the Crochet Project in the Dublin colour of Irish Artisan Yarn. It is gorgeous yarn, and Tara is very skilled as what she does. She's great. She's a lovely person. Now, so the last Restock is Carica Reed, and I hope the colours, I hope you can see these colours nicely. Irish Mill says these yarns are a tour of your life. Wow. Oh, you could do, what is that, fog lines shawl? I wonder, is that DK weight? You could do a fog line shawl where it's sort of one journeying into the other. How's that? Ooh, stop giving me ideas, folks. I love it. I love it. So that's Cara Reed in lovely blues and greens. Fantastic. Yeah, I can't actually just keep meaning to make a fog line shawl, full stop. Okay, so that's some new bits and bobs that came in. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. In fact, just because I see them all laid out next to each other. Here's a recap. I got everybody. There we go. Let's see if you can see them all. Lovely. Sorry about that slight technical glitch. Hopefully you can still hear me. Okay. Now, so I just wanted to show you all of those next to each other. Gorgeous, gorgeous colours. Oh, fog lines is worsted. Do you know what, Nick? We'll make it work. We could do. Yeah, actually, some of these DK they can knit as worsted, can't they? Like it's not a very hard line. Basically, I think we could make that work. Anyway, okay, cool, beautiful colours, beautiful colours. Right, moving on. We got time. Questions to cover. Great. Okay, so Sinead Horse, if you're out there, you were wondering if you could make the Sunday cardigan by Petite Knit. That's right, Sunday cardigan by Petite Knit in Sneffug. So we were having a little bit of a chat. Sorry, PJ Thompson, the yarn that I was showing just there was Irish Artisan Yarns DK Tweed. So, sorry, hi Sinead, how's it going? We've been having a little chat on direct message there. I know you're in work and you're going to catch back up with this later. When you were looking at the Sunday cardigan, you were saying, could you use Sneffnug instead of 3 strands of lace? Then we took a closer look and it turned out that it's actually made out of Aran weight and 2 strands of lace. I think you could get away with 1 strand of this and 1 strand of lace, or Katia cotton merino with 2 strands of lace. So you would need, if you were using the Sneffnug, it would be 6 balls of this and 6 balls of midnatsal or Kidsetta, or the kind of mohair or alpaca fluff lace that you wanted. Or if you wanted to do, I think it's going to be roughly the same amount, but the Katia cotton merino isn't as expensive as the Sneffnug, so if you wanted to use that as an alternative and maybe then do the double strand of the fluff, that could be an option too. So we can go through that, but I think it would be 6 balls of this and 6 of the midnatsal, or 6 balls of this and 12 of the midnatsal for the 2 strands. So that was that, but you know where to find me if you want a bit more advice. Just give us a shout, Sinead, when you check back in. I love this. I get a follow-up. This is Hazel Nolan said, no question, just to say that the swatching worked and it was so worth it in the end. So that was a follow-up from last week's live. Thanks, Hazel. It's nice to know it all works out. Okay, just so you're not looking at nobody. Oops. Hi. It always looks very dark in the shop actually when I do this, because I have to stop the shadows when I turn around. So yeah, our shop isn't always as dark, I promise. Couple of questions. So sorry, Hazel, that's great. I'm glad that worked out. Anne was saying, do all hand-dyed yarns need to be alternated when you're working with them? Depends on the project, depends on your approach to your knitting as well, your philosophy about it. Some people are just, they embrace the pool, they love it. Some people it would drive them completely insane. If it's just obviously a single skein shawl, you might be fine about it, especially something that grows as you work, because you're not working the same number of stitches on every row and you're less likely to get colours gathering in places that you don't want them to. If I was doing, personally, if I'm doing a sweater out of hand-dyed yarn, I would absolutely alternate the skeins in the body. I might not in the sleeves. It might kind of not be worth it. Like, it's sort of a balance between effort and reward. And when I say this, alternating the skeins, like you'll see on the hand-dyed yarns, and like a lot of the labels would say for the best results and for overall colour blending. When they say alternate skeins, you're literally working from 2 and using it as if you're making a striped design. So, but it'd be 2 like 2 rows if you're working a flat piece, or you could even alternate every round if you're working in the round. So you don't have to, but you will, across die batches and things, get variations. Or sorry, even within the same die batch, get variations, because it is hand dyed yarn and it is a kind of random process. So you can see, to really get a better picture, we would want to like open out these skeins and kind of see, like, is it the fact that there is more of this light shade in this skein, or is it just the way that these are twisted? Do you know what, we'll do it. Let's have a look. I'll never get them twisted back up as neat as Jenny would, but I want to show you. So yeah, are they quite different, or is it just that some of that light dye is hiding on the inside of the twisted skein? We don't know. So when you have your yarns at home, you can lay them on out and you can get a better idea of the colour distribution and all that, and assess, do you want to do that for that project that you're working on? Your kind of worst case scenario is that you get like kind of big patch here about around there, which we don't want. So yeah, so basically wind off those 2 rows from one, 2 rows from the other, or 2 rounds from one, 2 rows from the other. And you can kind of, when you're working thin enough stripes like that, you just carry the yarn up on the inside, and you're not going to find you have like, oh, you're not going to have loads of ends to weave in, you know, you're kind of just going to get further out of the 2. So yeah, open out your skeins, have a look and see what you want to do. But I would, in a sweater, recommend definitely alternating on the body for sure, on the sleeves if you can handle it. Okay, right, another bit of tidying up to do later on. So thank you for your question again. Last few bits, let's see, 1:30, doing okay. Very simple one from Cadoodle58. When will Townhouse Clarendon sock be restocked? We will. There's a reasonable amount there, but there will be more coming in about 10 to 14 days, I would say. So it's next on the Dye Studio list at the moment. So stay tuned, and if there's a particular colour that you want, drop us an email or a message here, and we'll make sure that it gets added into the mix, basically. So let us know what you need, and we'll get you sorted. I liked this one. This is from Alana Crafting, and she said, have I seen anybody knit Leonie with a contrasting sparkle? I'm going to show Leonie in case you're new around here and you haven't seen it. Hold on. Oh, where'd you go? Oops. Sorry, I had to walk all the way around the outside of the room. I hope you can still hear me. Okay, I should have had this ready. So listen, a mannequin does not do anything for this sweater, but it's Leonie by Coco Knits, and this is our non-sparkly version. So it's just a lovely linen over layer for summer. Ooh, can you still hear me? I've just got a beep in my ears to be worried whether you heard me or not. Hold on. Wave if you can hear me, or type if you can't. I'm waiting. Great, thank you, Nicola. Whew, whew. This, I forget that I have these in now. So this is Leonie, and we have made a version that is somewhere around here where it's a dark navy blue with a sparkle. Thanks, great reassurance in the comments, thank you. And the sparkle version is these 2 together. Unfortunately, we've only got like 2 balls of this colour in stock, and there's not more due in with the supplier until the end of May, but there's lots of other Leonie kits on the website if you want to have a look. Thanks for the feedback, people can hear me, woo. But what you were wondering is, like, they go really nicely together, and we put together kits for ones that were in the same sort of colour family, but what about a contrast bit of sparkle? And I thought that's a really nice idea, and pulled a few that might work. We go down again. We're up and down. No, it's fine. Sorry, Joy is commenting saying she brought it home. Of course you brought it home. It's your Leonie. Wait for mine to be finished. Hold on. Okay. Right. I can see all my notes here. Stay put. So, this is what we did, was we had those guys together. But, contrasty, I thought, where have I gone? Okay. There is this shade here, whoops, which is color 33? 50, oh, it's textured paper. So it's 33. That could look really cool with this. I like that it picks up the gold tones in the olive green Stellaris, which is 157. So that could be really nice. And I also, was it this guy? Oh, we can show. I think this one actually work with a lot of different ones. This kind of lovely aqua, like that's just beachy tones to me. Like throw it on over your swimsuit. If anybody's lucky enough to go to a beach this summer. A warm one, not an Irish one. So that guy there. And then this guy here could be really nice and warm and summer evening-y. That could be quite cool. And then, oops, I also had something fun happened when I put these two together. It's almost like this started to take on bluey tones as well to it. So that is, I should have gone the other color numbers, sorry. So this shade 49, which is described as a medium grey by BC Garn, but it is more of a denim-y blue for sure. And I thought those guys together would look really cool. Now, we have not seen, as I say, a contrast done, but let's see. I thought I would try this trick that Stephen West has been recommending when playing with marls, which is to wrap two yarns together around a ruler. Woolly Bit says you might need a woolly sweater on an Irish beach. That is very true. To give you an impression of how your colour combination might work with it. It's called the lazy swatch. So thanks for that, Stephen. That's a really good one. To give you a better idea of how two colours might work together. So you can see with that that you get an overall kind of, like, I would call it a tweedy effect. I mean, it is a marl, right? So where you get some colours, or some stitches you're going to see more of the pink, some less, because it's going to shift as you knit the stitches. Sometimes they get sort of a little bit more swallowed and pushed to the back. So you would get this sort of like peaks of colours coming in and out. Sorry, I wanted to show that one as well. I think that would be really cool. So not super high contrasty, but that would work really well. So this colour, by the way, is just a little odd swatch that we had. It's actually not one of the ones that are in the range, because I know somebody will ask about wanting to see which combination that is, but it's just not one of them. But it would give a good impression of how that would work together with that. So do your lazy swatches if you have bits and bobs of colour at home, and you can get an idea and an impression of how that would work. But if anybody out there does want to make a contrasting sparkle Leonie, I would love to see it, and please do share pictures with us. Yeah, okay. And Joy says, remember that the Stellaris is just, I mean, it is a fine thread. I'm trying to pick even one of these up here, you see, and it is a fine thread, she says. Pick two up, that is two together. So it would still be a very subtle effect. I actually was thinking that it would be cool to see a version with a double strand of Stellaris to make the sparkle more dominant. Anybody want to give that a go? Answers on a postcard, please. So cool, right. I mean, the Leonie is super wearable. It does go super fast. I haven't finished mine yet, just because I haven't managed to actually get much knitting done in the evenings this week for other jobs we're needing doing. But I have to say, if you paid attention to it and did nothing else, you'd get one done very quickly, because it's 6.5mm needles, and it does. It flies up. It's kind of not cropped, but sort of sits just above the hip as well. So I hope that helps. Joy is getting ideas about doing a double-stranded Stellaris one. Okay, next, let's see. So, oh yeah, so this is from Claire to Here, was wondering if I could show options for a Love Note sweater with either She's Electric or Atlantis in Fade Street. So we just have the Atlantis, we don't have She's Electric. And I will show you some, hello Atlantis, hello. I will show you some Abbey combinations that might go well with that. Now, kind of throwing something out there a little bit randomly, which is, would you like, ooh, people are volunteering for testing. Would you like a more springy Love Note, or are you looking for something more in keeping with the original? Because you can do a contrasting mohair to kind of raise the lightness of that. So that's Seafoam with Atlantis in Fade Street. You could instead go She's Electric. This is like, it's almost neon on the screen. So that would be a much more vibrant and rich finished sweater. You could go more super springy with like florals and all of that, which is with Cupcake. Or we can go deeper, richer jewel tones. This is Celestial. That would work really nicely with that. Or darker again, Iha. So loads of choices there. Let me just sort of pop them in, kind of so you can see more of the idea next to each other. Oh, this is getting a bit messy, but there you go. Oh, Jen Bear did Seafoam with Toffee Pop and you love it. Yeah, Seafoam is actually a great one for holding along with a lot of colours. This is Seafoam here. It pairs well, it plays well with them, so it does. So there are your few options. So that's the Fade Street and Atlantis, She's Electric, Seafoam, Cupcake, Iha down here, and Celestial here. Okay, Big Bobblehead. I love your username. Hi, Big Bobblehead. She's got 420 meters of mohair, and you'd love another skein to add to make a short sleeve top, I presume. Any suggestions? Your mohair is pinks with a touch of mustard from Shunnock Yarns. Oh, Sophie. Hi, Sophie. You're inspired by all the Love Notes. Okay, so let me see. You have, it's pinks with a touch of mustard, and you're looking for more mohair to go with that. Ideas. I think Toffee Pop would really fit the bill. Let me see. Throw them out. Hopefully there's some ideas there for you from Claire to Here. These guys. So this is Toffee Pop, which is kind of golds, beiges, naturals, and you've got your bits of pinks, slight bits of greys going through that as well. These will come up at very kind of random flex all the way through, just to give it a bit of character. And a short sleeve Love Note, great. This is Damask here. So I think either of those would work with what you are describing. This Rosie's Gold is quite vibrant, but possibly, and Flat White is just super neutral and latte, not even latte, it's called Flat White. There you go. Would Stellaris work the same as mohair for Love Note? It wouldn't. It's so fine. It's really super fine. So I don't think it would give the body that you'd need unless you held it as double strand. Great, Toffee Pop is perfect. Listen, forget about all those. There's Toffee Pop, beautiful. So someone was wondering, so in the Love Note sweater, have I got one here to show? You have a base yarn of a 4-ply. Our versions are merino and silk blend of 70% merino and 30% silk, and then you're holding a strand of mohair with it. So if you're, the mohair kind of lends a halo and a body to the whole project that I think you would need to match 2 strands of Stellaris to kind of give that body to it. But there's, I mean, in Stellaris you're getting 560 meters per one of these little pretty guys. So you wouldn't need too many. You know, like 2 or 3 of these, that would do your job, I think. Doubled, yeah, maybe 3 or 4 actually. Mohair itches you in the summer. Okay, yes, we've had a few people kind of comment about the mohair, about wanting an alternative to these fluffy guys, to still get fluff, but not for it to be mohair based, is what I mean. So if you check out the Camarose Midnight Sol on our website, that is cotton and alpaca based, but you still get the fluffy finish, and we definitely recommend that as a straight substitute for a mohair and silk fluff if you wanted to go with that. Cool. Okay, it's take a sip of water time, and I think that was all the questions from everybody. And let's see, yeah, making sure. One thing I forgot to show earlier on, sorry, that was the Sunday cardigan that we were talking about using strands of Snefnug and Midnight Sol with. I just had that print out, but I didn't find it at the time. We will talk now about interchangeable needles, I think. One moment. Okay. Now, live demos are always going to involve me fiddling with things and probably dropping things. So bear with me. Heliana, what's about Heliana? I think you were wondering about, you were saying you're struggling to choose the best set of interchangeables, but that you love Chowgu, and can I show you one of the sets? You usually work on projects that ask for between 3.5 and 6 millimeter needles, and the vast majority are 4 millimeter. You keep buying needles, and maybe an interchangeable set would make more sense at this stage. And yes, I agree. So let's talk about Chowgus first. Sorry about the listening and the plastic. Right. So here we are. There's Heliana. How's it going? Chowgu twist sets. We have a few different versions of them, and they are containing needles and cords that are, I have a whole box of things here just to pull out. So the needle tips and types of cords that come in those interchangeable sets are along the lines of these, with some variations that I will now go ahead and discuss. So they're a stainless steel needle tip, and the cords themselves have, isn't it steel in them? Wow, I should have known this one. So the lace tips are made of surgical stainless steel, and steel cable, that's right. So it's a flexible, multi-strand and nylon-coated, memory-free steel cable. So let's talk about the memory-free part. Okay, this is a fixed circular needle that has been sort of twisted up and stored. So when they're talking about memory-free, is that when you open it out, you're not getting like super twisty kinks. It's not pulling on you as you go to do your knitting. So they're great cable. They really are. They're quite structured. So if you're a magic loop knitter and you don't have, or you want to use a cable without having quite a lot kind of pulled out to either side, then we recommend using the mini cords because they're more flexible. But I am going to talk about the different types of cords in a second. But that just gives you the initial impression of your memory-free cable, okay? Now, knit addiction, right here. Sorry, this is a little bit all over the place because I'm reading comments at the same time. But, right, the sets that we have, the most popular ones tend to be the small sets, okay? So the small sets go from 2.75 needles up to 5 millimeter, okay? You are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 needle tips in that. You're missing a US size 3 out of it. but you're getting a really good range of sizes other than that, okay? And they come with several cables. You're getting 6 cable. No. I'm sorry about this now. I am going to admit something. Okay, the Chowgu sets, they drive me crazy because there's so many options. It is, every single time that I do this, I have to stop and look and think about what goes with what, okay? It's actually a good thing because they create a lot of different adapters, a lot of different needle tips and sizes, and a lot of options. So you can generally, once you start with something, you can make it adjustable and it will connect up with other options and stuff. Bear with me. So for your needs, Eliana, what I was going to say is something like this twist set here, definitely it's got the sizes of cords and stuff that you're looking for, and you can then buy a separate tip for your 6s or your 6.5s to connect up with the other cords that you have in here. In the larger needle tips, they go up and they end up having a large connector, which means, so the bit that goes in, let's assemble one. I'll show you. Oh, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one that's confused. We actually, there's a little cheat guide beside the cash desk here just to help us to make sure that we know what's going on each time. So these are 5-inch tips. This is why did they end up with 120 centimeter cord? This is a really long cord. Yeah, and then there's the American, there you are, look, it wants to unfurl already. They all have the American sizes and the like inches and centimeters and all that sort of stuff, right? So, but these are a small cable tip connection, and they're going into a cord that is marked, or a red cable that's marked as a small cable, okay? So you connect them like this, just a screw connection, but then you want to tighten it. So it comes with these tightened keys, and you pop it through. And it's not, because this is with the nipper ones as well, sometimes people think, oh, when they say key that you're twisting, but it's not that. It's to give you something to grip onto for purchase, so that you can then twist and tighten a little bit more. If you're trying to do that just with your hands, everything sort of slips around and you won't get it good and firm and tight, okay? So that's a small needle tip into the small connector of the cable. If you want to use the mini cables, which you can see are thinner than these guys, I'll open that one out, then you need an adapter. And once you have those adapters, you're flying. So they can then use like super bendy, flexible, and compare the size here, look. So that's the mini cable. A lot of people would opt for these, as I said, if they're doing magic loop knitting, and all you need is to get your adapter, which is your small tip to the mini cable adapters. So they're tiny little things in there, but they'll make it possible for you to put any of your small tips onto your mini cables. Let's tidy this up a little bit. Right, and then ditto for the larger. Once you get into your higher, I think it goes from, it might be 5.5 or 6 size needles, then they have the larger connection, but you can use the large tip to the small cable adapters. Nicola's saying the little holes are really useful for lifelines too. They are. I love that idea. If you're doing like a pattern, like lace shawls and stuff like that, where there's quite a lot going on, sticking in those lifelines are a really, really good plan. So that if something goes wrong a few rows down, you can just rip it back to that. A lifeline is something you would thread a little bit, come here to me, a little bit of sewing thread through that hole, and quite a long piece. And imagine as you're knitting across your row, if you've got that thread, all of your stitches slide down over it as you go, and then you have this safety net of a row of your knitting that's got this sewing thread through it, that if you do need to rip back, you can rip on to that point and all of your stitches will be caught on that line, and then you can start again if things got messed up a little bit. Heliana says that things are starting to make sense. Thank goodness. Really, I swear I know what I'm talking about. Shaz Sews and Knits says she loves using these as they have never come apart, unlike other ones that you've tried. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, these guys are more expensive than other interchangeable needle sets that are out there, but they are really impressively engineered. Like, they are super, super well made, so they are 100% worth it, and there's no snags and no catches at all when you are working with them. If you have tried circular needles before, and you've found that you've struggled with stretching the stitches on over that join, you won't have that issue with these needles. They just, if you can see, they run smoothly. There's like a taper there from that onto the needle connector, and then another taper as the needle grows up. So the cost of the small sets, I'm going to ask Aisling, who is on and listening in, to just come back to you, but it's in the region of €100. So for those guys, possibly a little more, she says. So that's those guys. I will call out the price then when Aisling reads it out to me, because I should have checked that. Now, the other, you can get the complete set as well. So this has sizes from 2.75 up to 10 millimeter. But it depends. I mean, if you're going to be using up to 10 millimeters, then by all means, that's well worthwhile. But you can expand your set. In fact, the small set case has got the spaces for the additional needle sizes. It's the same case that comes in it. Hang on. So that you can add to it. Here's the go. Come out, you. Okay. They are, yeah, the 131.95 for the small set, but they are, as I said, extremely well engineered, really nicely presented as well. And there's all your cables. So you have got 3 sets of cables in there, 35 centimeter, 55 and 75, and all of your guides as to how to use it are in there as well. The lifeline hole, there you go. So you can see up to 5 millimeter in here, but you have the room for going all the way up to your US size 15 or 10 millimeter. So that is nice, and you've got a little set zip on the outside for the accessories that come with it, which is your sizers, little stitch markers, your stoppers and your tightening keys, and that's the lot there. So it's all really nicely put together. And yes, I wanted to say that these are the 5-inch tips, but they also come with 4-inch tips. It's the same price, but some people prefer a slightly shorter needle tip. So that would be available to you if you wanted to get that. So that's a small set. The complete comes up to the 10 millimeter size. Then there is this, not specifically for Heliana because you were looking for sizes up to 4 and 6.5, but there's a red lace mini set which has between 1.5 and 2.5 millimeter needles. If you do a lot of very tiny knitting, that might work. And I believe we have those in the 5-inch tips and the 4-inch as well. And then we have the twist shorties in recently. So they cover 2 to 3.25 millimeter. And they are the super short cables. So for knitting your sleeves and your socks and everything like that. And you actually get 2 and 3-inch tips of all the sizes in this set too. So that's a more general overview of what's available in the childcare range. I'll show you the cord. I have a large cord as well. Ready to go? Yeah. So this was just the large cord with the large connection here. You can see it's actually the same. Maybe it's a little bit thicker actually. Oh, they make really good Ziplocs as well. Can't get into it. Can you tell I was prepared? Great. So the larger connection for the larger tips, but again, that cable is super flexible as well, and you can get the adapters for your large tips if you want to use the smaller needle or smaller cords. Now, we do have, as well, a little set at the moment in the interchangeable symphony wood finish with color-coded cables, and that is covering, if you like wood, sorry about all the glare on this, some people prefer wooden needles rather than metal ones. Completely understand. That would have been my preference as well for the last while, but I'm being convinced about Chogoos over the last little while. So they start at 3.5 and they go on up to 8mm in the set. So loads of options there. 6.5mm isn't in there. Unfortunately, that was kind of, I find that 6.5 is a quite common size, so it's something that bothered me that they don't have them in that. But then what we do say is to use, if you want to try ones out, find out the size that isn't in the set and get that in between size, because they're the ones that you're going to add on afterwards anyway. So 3.75 isn't in there. 6.5 isn't in there. So if you wanted to try the Knit Pro Symphonies and see if it was for you, you could get the 3.75s and see how you got on with it. And then you wouldn't be double purchasing down the line. So these come on. We are almost out of time. So I will just show you the finish on that, the lovely multicolored finish. And they connect up to these cables in the very same way. These are nylon cables, super flexible as well. Super bouncy, and they connect. They also have a tightening key and they connect like this. Now, and Aisling is saying try the 3mm if you want to try the Chogo. How long are these? These guys are the same. They're probably slightly shorter than the 5-inch, and then they have a shorter tip as well for using with the 40cm cable. That's probably again slightly shorter than 4-inch, and then you can work away. So that's those guys. They do have a starter set. Wow, I just have stuff everywhere. The starter set has, I think it's 4, 5 and 6mm needles. Yes, so you could try that if they were the most common sizes that you use. And then they have a gift set too, called the Knit and Sip. Oh look, you can see the ceiling. I won't open that one up because if you go onto the website and have a look at the Knit and Sip product, it has a full little video that I did to show you the inside of it and what you get, which is lots of lovely little coffee things as well. This coffee themed gift set is nice. So I think that's it for today. It is 13:58. I'll try and turn you back around so you make sure that can put off. I hope that helped. Sorry about being slightly confused myself. But if you are looking for an interchangeable set, and we know the Chogo are a bit of an investment, but you know, contact us, we'll give you some advice. I don't think you'll need anything else once you get those. They are extremely well made and they will last you a lifetime. Anything else anybody wants to ask about before we go? And if not, I'll probably have about 60 seconds to answer the question if you do. Otherwise, yes, remember no live next week because of the yarn tasting. If you're taking part, I'm really looking forward to seeing you then. Yeah, if you have questions in the meantime that you want me to cover in the next live, you can email us or you can drop us a message on Instagram anytime. Lovely. Yes, the perfect birthday present, Jen says. Any of those sets would be absolutely beautiful as a gift. So thanks for the lovely comments, and I hope to see you really soon. Enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the rest of your day.